Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kire here with another Infinite Magicraid video. And in today's video, we got good news. Finally, Hisonia is back as a miracle summon. This is a amazing character, easily top 2. You can argue that Nicholas is number 1, and then Hisonia is number 2. And finally coming back, they've intentionally, I feel like, held back Hisonia coming back because they just know that this is such a good character. I've never seen him in a miracle summon ever since I started playing the game. And I believe he was in a miracle summon right before I started, to give you an idea of how long I've been playing the game here, and also to really give you an idea of just how good this is. There is going to be other heroes in this that we'll touch on here in a moment, but before I get into the rest of the video here, I got to shout out today's sponsor, which is Aptoide. So the reason why I partner with Aptoide as a sponsor on this channel is because if you're going to be spending money on these games, why not get a discount? With Aptoide, you can get up to 20% off, but there is a couple steps you got to do. So it will all be linked down in the description, so be sure to click that. But what you got to do is have this AppCoins wallet downloaded on either an Android phone or an Android emulator. So I currently use BlueStacks. That's what this is. And you can see in the bottom left here, AppCoins wallet. And then from there, you want to go here, open the app, then go to the cog wheel and add my promo code, which you can do right here. And that is Kire Mobile 5, all capitals, all one word. And that will get you an additional 5% off. So when you go to purchase something in game, then you just get a discount. So thanks for Aptoide for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to the content. Okay, so here is the calendar going on in Infinite Magicraid from March 13th to March 19th. We have a couple typical things such as the Mystic Treasure Hunt, enhancement goals, equipment and artifact goals, but then there is the World Boss Challenge. This is pretty rare, and then the Brave Trial Competition, which is pretty typical. Hopefully they implement the quality of life features that they said they were going to do for Brave Trial here soon, because this is something that's just objectively good, but so tedious to do, especially in the beginning stages, that I can see a lot of people just neglecting it. Then we have the fewer wishes for Guaranteed Legend. This is something that I know is objectively good. It's just not that exciting. When it's like minus 30 or whatever, summons to be able to get a legendary. I have done that a few times just based on when I was or where it was on the actual pity. But since everyone just got a double legend, I don't really see people having that many summons left. Maybe if you're in a situation where you have a ton of stuff saved and then you hit the double legend and you still have a ton left, then it might be worth going for this, but that would be the only kind of people worth it. Or if you're just a spender, then obviously this would be a no-brainer. So then Challenge Growlin, that's pretty typical. And then this thing I'm excited to see is the Haunted Shipwreck Master Mode Challenge. Looks like they have 2 events going on for that, which I really have no idea what they could possibly be. They haven't told us anything in the content creator chat yet, but curious to see a new event, even though I know it's tied to something that is very controversial, which is a master mode. Let's just see it. Because a lot of these mobile games I've noticed, just playing a lot of these over time, is they'll come out with a very controversial change, and then when you see everything roll out with it that they haven't necessarily announced yet, maybe people like it, not justifying it because it's pretty terrible. And I think it's just going to be, even with all the stuff that they roll out with, pretty terrible until like way down the line when they really increase food, whatever. But that's a whole nother topic. But I just want to keep that open mind here when it comes to this. And then on March 17th is going to be the Miracle Wish goal, which means that's when it goes live. So let's break down the heroes that are going to be going through that. There's going to be 2 unannounced heroes that I don't know the kits of, and then let's talk about the other ones too. Okay, so here it is. Here are the new heroes that are coming through. We have Swell and Ikina. Those are 2 that are unannounced that I'll make a video out here in the future. And then we have Hisonia, which is amazing. Slaville, which is amazing. And then also Hoff. And then also there's a big difference between, you got the triple S tier Hisonia, but Slaville is still very good. Yeah. So if you end up pulling her as a consolation prize, it's not the end of the world. I use Slaville an absolute ton. So we have, just so you guys can see it, here is Hisonia. This is going to be the dream pick, depending on how good those other 2 heroes are. The way I would assume, if they're willing to put out Hisonia in this, that these 2 new heroes might not necessarily be that good. They could be filler. It's kind of like, I don't know, like a UFC fight where they know it's bankable, like a Connor fight, for example. Then it's like, why fill out the rest of the card with really good stuff if they know people are going to show up anyway? So that is why I think these heroes might not necessarily be that good. If they are, then great. That's awesome. That's a nice bonus there. That if you pick Hazonia and you end up pulling other heroes on the way to getting Hazonia, then you get another good legendary. So that could be the case there. I would be surprised if they just stack it with a ton of good ones. Usually you probably want like 1 or 2 good ones and then the rest kind of mid. And then at least in this one, there is guaranteed good ones, especially in Slaville here. This is one of my favorite heroes in the entire game. Mainly when you get her exclusive 1, because then it extends the duration of the control immunity, which is not to be underrated, because I think one of the best places to use her is going to be Guild Boss. And then if she ever gets punched, she always has the control immunity, because it's a 3-turn, but it becomes a 2-turn, just like her A2 here. So she always has that up. Also, she's always giving everyone else in the team a tech up 2. And this is something that for your bleeders, or just direct damage dealers in general, really makes a massive difference in your damage. And then because you don't have to worry about crit rate on her, she actually does really good damage. So I'm a big fan of Slaville. I've been using her a ton. And then she's also just really good in other game modes too, like Tower Mark and stuff. I've really pushed far because of her in those game modes as well. And I'm assuming Infection Abyss, I have a lot of characters in this faction. This is just an overall good faction in my opinion. So she's going to get a ton of use here. And then now with the new campaign, she's going to get even more use. So very good character there. Even if you end up pulling her instead of Hazonia and you run out of shards, not the end of the world for sure. Who's the next hero? Oh, we have Hoff as well. Okay, so Hoff is also an amazing hero. Let's actually move this so I can show you. So then next is going to be this guy. So I used the Hoff an absolute ton as well. This guy I really slept on until I ended up pulling him. The 2 big reasons why I like him a ton is going to be effect res down 2, and then also the AoE HP burn. Those 2 are massive deals for a ton of content. I use him pretty much everywhere I possibly can. That's going to be faction based. It's going to be the harder version of campaign. That also Guild Boss, I thought he was really good as a temporary character before I got Ben Austin. He really fills that kind of role there as that support damage dealer, because he's giving the effect res down. That's going to help your burners. That's going to help your bleeders, depending on how you're doing your damage. And then he also has the defense down 2 plus tenacity down 2. So if your damage dealers are very direct damage focused, or even if they are bleeders, they still do direct damage as well, unless you got like a nid rolled, for example. This is still really impactful, and it makes a big deal in Guild Boss. It's going to allow you to have less effect hit on your heroes here, and they're just going to do more damage here. I'd end up turning off the HP burn. I only want him applying the effect res down 2 and the defense down 2 plus tenacity down 2 when I was doing that. Just keep that in mind. If you have Nicholas, kind of makes him redundant. If you have Ben Austin, kind of makes him redundant. This combination here, in my opinion, kind of replaces him in Guild Boss, but he's still very useful in other game modes. Like currently I'm using him as I auto Red Mark 29. He's in this team here. I use him a ton. So it doesn't do nearly as much damage as Sigmund, by the way. Just want to throw that out there, but still a very good hero. So the rest of this is going to be really determined on just how good those other 2 heroes are. But even if those 2 heroes are trash, I still think it's worth pulling for, but it could even be better, for example. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the events going on in this game. The big ones, the 2 new heroes, and then the new game mode in relation to Master Mode we don't know about. So curious to see what happens there. But until then, I guess still a very good event. This is going to be a time to pull for sure, in my opinion. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.